আমরা আমাদের সিলেবাসের অলমোস্ট শেষের দিকে চলে এসেছি, যেখানে আছে থ্রেটস টু ওয়াইল্ড লাইফ কনজারভেশন অ্যান্ড ওয়াইল্ড লাইফ ট্রেড। তার মধ্যেই থাকবে টুলস ফর ওয়াইল্ড লাইফ রিসার্চ, ইউজেস অফ রেডিও-টেলিমেট্রি অ্যান্ড রিমোট সেন্সিং ইন ওয়াইল্ড লাইফ রিসার্চ। তাহলে আমরা শুরু করি ওয়াইল্ড লাইফ কনজারভেশনটা দিয়ে। এবার এই টার্ম যেটা কনজারভেশন, first coined by Dr. Gifford Pincott in the year 1908. উনি মেইনলি দুটো ল্যাটিন ওয়ার্ড থেকে এই কথাটাকে এনেছিলেন। ফার্স্ট ওয়ান হচ্ছে কন মানে টুগেদার অ্যান্ড সার্ভেয়ার মানে গার্ড। তাহলে কনজারভেশন ইজ ওয়ান অফ দ্য মেজর অ্যাপ্লিকেশনস অফ ইকোলজি to ensure scientific and sustainable utilization of resources. Ebar, conservation may be defined as the scientific management of natural resources for both living and its associated with non-living attributes in order to yield sustainable benefit to the present generation, as well as safeguarding the potentiality of the resources to meet the needs of the future generation in the days to come. Ebar objectives আছে for such conservation. Objectives এর মধ্যে ফার্স্টেই আমরা বলতে পারি to study the interrelationship of plants and animals in their natural habitats. Secondly, আমরা বলতে পারি to protect and preserve rare species of plants and animals from extinction. Third, আমরা বলতে পারি to prevent deforestation. For the deforestation টা যেই বলছি তখনই আসে to maintain the balance of nature. এবার threats to wildlife, যেটা তোমাদের কোশ্চেনে প্রায় থাকে। Firstly হচ্ছে habitat loss. Habitat loss is the major threat to the survival of wildlife throughout the globe. Absence of cover or shelter, destruction of trees হচ্ছে সেখানে herbs, shrubs from a particular area for the wildlife. Habitat destruction. Habitat destruction is the process in which natural habitat যেটা আছে, natural habitat is rendered functionally unable to support the species present there. Habitat destruction is currently ranked as the primary cause of species extinction worldwide. Habitat fragmentation. Splitting of a continuous habitat to several smaller discontinuous patches due to several unplanned and unsustainable developmental activities is termed as habitat fragmentation. Due to habitat fragmentation, habitats are increasingly subdivided into smaller units. Smaller unit হওয়ার জন্য কি হচ্ছে, resulting in their increased insularity as well as loss of total habitat area. Continuous terrestrial wildlife habitats are often been fragmented because of roads, railway track and other activities. There are many examples of habitat loss due to unplanned development and other anthropogenic activities. Next. আচ্ছা, আগেই ছিল বোধহয় একটা হ্যাবিটেট ডিগ্রেডেশনটা বোধহয় আমি বললাম না। আচ্ছা, হ্যাবিটেট ডিগ্রেডেশনটা কিছুই না, pollution of invasive species, climate change, যেটা সাবসিকুয়েন্ট ডিসরাপশন অফ ইকোসিস্টেম হচ্ছে সেটাই। নেক্সট হচ্ছে গ্রেজিং অফ লাইভস্টক। Livestock grazing has severely threatened our wildlife and their habitat in various ways. The decline of wild herbivore population is the most noticeable effect, as they have to complete their livestock for food. Next, mining activity. Mining activities is another cause for such wildlife conservation activities degradation. Forest fire. Forest fire are one of the major threats to wildlife. Ground fire burns the undergrowth, leading to a shortage of food for herbivore like elephant, sambar, chetal, etc. animals. Next, construction of roads and railway tracks. Roads and railway tracks are another point. Construction of roads and railway tracks are the another point for the destruction of wildlife. Next, invasive species are briefly defined as plants, animals, and microbes that are out of place and out of control. In recent time, invasive species are considered as one of the most serious threat to wildlife. Invasive species cause harm to existing wildlife in many ways. Direct threat to wildlife by the invasive species including preying on native species, then outcompeting native species for food or other resources. They also spread disease, preventing native species from reproducing or killing their young. Um, Next, come to overexploitation. Overexploitation is defined as the irrational and overuse of several species of wild flora and fauna by people for their self-interested need. Forests provide a large number of non-timber forest products. Non-timber forest products যেটাকে আমরা বলি non-timber forest product, NTFP, non-timber product forest product। তার মধ্যে হচ্ছে fruit, seeds, medicine, honey, এইগুলো সবই পড়ে যাচ্ছে সেইখানে, which have been collected from the forest for commercial use। এবার কি হচ্ছে, constant and large scale collection of such products cause destruction of the habitat and deprive wildlife for their food sources। তারপরে আসছি disease. Wildlife population are often affected by a series of emerging diseases, some of which lead to serious declines and pose significant threat to their conservation. Then finally, pollution, global warming and climate change. Pollution often kill or impair the health of severe species of wildlife. Many Arctic ice is melting at a faster pace, threatening many Arctic mammals. Then sea level is rising. With the rise of sea surface temperature, the events of coral bleaching is also increasing. Changing climate might also create favorable conditions for the spread of several invasive species. And pathogens will also spread to new areas with higher temperature along with their host. Excessive tourism. Unplanned tourism may pose a threat to wildlife. Roads and developmental activities to aid tourism fragment wildlife habitat, often leading to disturbance and behavioral changes in wildlife, and might also indirectly aid spread of exotic plant species. Legal lapse. Uh, we take example of India here. India, though, possesses many laws for the conservation of wildlife, but yet proper implementations of law is often lacking. All are the aspect of wildlife conservation. Then come to wildlife telemetry. Wildlife telemetry, the primary objective of wildlife telemetry is to acquire information about the behavior of animals in their natural habitat, in their niche. And radio telemetry or very high frequency radio tracking, যেটাকে ছোটভাবে বলা হয় VHF. তাহলে radio telemetry যেটা সেটা radio tracking was first used in 1963 by Cochrane and Lord. Radio telemetry has evolutionized the wildlife research and has been used to study local movements, dispersal and migration routes, and estimate their habitat, their population's abundance, and examine intra as well as interspecific relationship, and finally estimate their survival. Then advantages, very important from the perspective of question. Advantages of VHF radiometry. First setup, this simple method of tracking animals is the most useful and versatile type of radio tracking with reasonable accuracy. Next point হচ্ছে VHF tags are lightweight and long life battery. Next, it is very easily available in the market and relatively inexpensive and suitable for monitoring a wide range of species from very small animals, even insects, to large mammals. Then finally come to remote sensing. Remote sensing technology largely deal with satellite imageries generated by means of various types of electromagnetic waves to analyze many aspects of geospatial data. According to Nicholas, remote sensing is a technology for sampling electromagnetic radiation to acquire and interpret non-immediate geospatial data from which to extract information about future. But from the aspect of American Society for Programmetry and Remote Sensing, যেটাকে ASPRS বলা হয়, ASPRS, American Society for Programmetry and Remote Sensing, They define remote sensing as the measurement or acquisition of information of some property of an object or phenomena by a recording device that is not in physical or intimate contact with the object or phenomena under study. সেটা ছিল in the year 1983. And recent Jensen in the year 2005 defined it as the art and science of obtaining information about an object without being in direct contact with the object. The electromagnetic waves reflected from the Earth's surface is recorded by sensors mounted in various instruments, and data received by those sensors are then interpreted through various software to final output. This about the remote sensing, and remote sensing deals with the detection and measurements of phenomena with devices sensitive to electromagnetic energy such as light, heat, radio waves, etc. Camera is one of the most popular instruments used in remote sensing. Remote sensing science mainly deals with electromagnetic energy, as this is the only form of energy which can transfer through vacuum.